Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, then welcome. My name is Allie, and in today's video, I will be sharing with you 4 Christmas DIY decor ideas. For today's projects, you may have seen similar versions of these on sites like Pottery Barn, Anthropologie, McGee & Co. I really like to draw my inspiration from sites like that and then see what I can recreate at home. So these are projects that you can do, that I can do on a budget, that we can make look really high end, but are very much affordable. The first project I'll be sharing with you is how to make one of those large satin tree topper bows. So you've probably seen these tree toppers again on those sites. They're really popular right now, but you can make it for a fraction of the cost. I've seen them anywhere from $80 to over $100, but we can make it on our own really easily. The second project is these DIY cluster trees. I saw these trees on Pottery Barn's website. I really love that striking red color. I think it's so pretty. So I wanted to see if I could recreate some of my own, and I did. I love them, and I'll be sharing with you how to do that as well. The third project involves gold metallic branches. Now, I've seen these branches on many different sites, including Wayfair. They tend to retail for a lot of money. However, I collected just a few branches walking around my neighborhood, and I transformed them into these beautiful branches. I love them. I think they came out so nice, and I cannot wait to share them with you. And the final project I'll be sharing with you is my DIY tension rod garland. Now, if you guys follow me since last year, you know that I made one of those tension rod garlands in our entryway. I loved it. It turned out even better than I had imagined, and I had inspiration from sites like Pottery Barn and Interior Delights, over $100, sometimes even upwards of $200. But I wanted to make my own using really affordable materials, and you guys, it came out so good, so good. I cannot wait to share it with you again this year. I'm excited to dive right into this one. So if you like videos like this, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what project was your favorite and if you plan on doing any of these DIYs. All right, let's get started on our DIYs. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Okay, so we are getting started with DIY number 1, which is that extra large satin bow. You're going to need some fabric, which I've linked for you down below, also a glue gun, and then something to stuff the bows with. So I'm using just some extra bags and then some extra packing paper. So I have my fabric laid out on our dining table here, and all I'm going to be doing is starting on one end of the fabric. I'm going to be adding a line of glue and then just folding over maybe about ½ inch just to create a finished looking seam on the end. So I'm going to glue, fold that top piece over, and then I'm going to add some glue to the bottom piece as well. I folded it up first. I'm adding a nice line of glue, and then I'm just securing it. Nothing here needs to be absolutely perfect. You just want it to look like it has a finished edge. So you'll continue this process all the way down the edge, and it helps when you put it on your table because it keeps things nice and flat, and you can use the edge of the table as a guide to keep it straight. Once you're finished with that, you're just going to find the center and cinch it, and then you're just going to tie a basic bow. This is just your run-of-the-mill rabbit ear bow, nothing fancy. You just want to make sure that you're getting the loops of the ribbon as big as you would like for your specific tree. Of course, this is all personal preference. You're going to find that there's an opening on top and an opening on the bottom. So what you want to do is you want to seal one of them off using just glue gun. Again, you're going to add a strip of glue down the center and just make a nice even seam there. And then you're going to take whatever stuffing you're using and you're going to stuff that into the top before sealing that part off as well. Now for your ribbon tails along the bottom, I am just repeating the same process that I used at the beginning, where I'm just making a straight edge, folding over about ½ inch of that fabric, adding a line of glue and sealing it that way. You can choose to make these slanted or straight, again, personal preference. Now it's time to style it. So I just brought this tree into our covered porch. It doesn't even have any ornaments yet, and I know the tree topper usually comes last, but I could not help myself. So I added it to the top. I gave the ribbon tails a little bit of a steam, and I think that it looks beautiful. It is so much fun. It brings so much personality into the covered porch, and it really is just so stunning. I'm so happy with it. On to DIY number 2, I'm going to be recreating those potted berry trees. So for this, you're going to need 2 of those floral foam trees and then several berry stems. I put everything in the description down below. I'm also going to be adding in some greenery and then a little bit more of those red berry stems just for added texture. So I grabbed 2 of these pots. I found them on clearance at Hobby Lobby. They were less than $5 each, and they are still available online, so I linked them for you. Again, everything is down in my description box. So you're going to begin by just pulling apart these berry stems. So these actually come apart really easily, and once they do, they have a little bit of a sharp pointed edge there so that you can just sort of press them into the tree. So I like to start at the bottom and then I just kind of work my way around the tree almost in a spiral fashion, but nothing really needs to be too precise about it. So I started adding little dots of glue to help secure it into place, but you're going to see in a bit that I sort of just abandoned my glue gun. I only used it periodically. For the most part, I would just poke these little mini berry stems into the tree and then I would just cup my hands around it to help them form the shape. And then what I would do when I had enough of these berries is sometimes I would just sort of twist a berry from one stem around the other and they just sort of help secure each other into place. And I just repeat this process all the way up the tree, adding all the berries in that sort of spiral fashion. Throughout the process, you will also have a bunch of berries that pop off. That's okay. I just poke them individually anywhere that I feel like there's a gap that needs to be filled. And now I'm doing the same thing with the frosted berries. I broke apart the larger stems and I am just adding in these frosted berry stems wherever I can find a hole that needs to be filled. I will say that if you watched my last year's DIY Christmas video where I made the pine cone trees, the one step that I wish I did here that I did in my previous video is I had painted the bottom trees brown. And I think that that will help you if you want to have a little bit more of a realistic look and have absolutely no green showing through. As you can see, I did have some green showing through, so I went in with a little bit of greenery to help cover it up. While that did work for me here, if I were to go back and do it over again, I would definitely paint those trees brown before I got started. I thought that the perfect place for these would be outside in the covered porch. I love how they bring that pop of red over from the satin ribbon on top of the tree. I feel like it just ties everything together beautifully, and I love the textured pots up there on the wood mantle. On to DIY number 3, I'm going to create the gold branches centerpiece on our dining table. So out for my morning walk, I found a bunch of branches, including this large pine cone branch. And I was so excited to find this one. It was so big that I just used a pair of cutting shears and I just broke it apart into smaller pieces. So now I'm just clipping off any of these little straggler pieces here. And I decided to wrap the pine cones in tin foil because you'll see in just a minute that when I go to spray paint them, I wanted to preserve the color of the natural pine cones. So I'm using two different spray paints here. I have a satin sheen, which is called Satin Khaki. I've linked everything down below for you. And then the next one I'm gonna hit them with is this gold metallic finish. You could probably just do the gold and skip the satin khaki, but I just wanted to kind of give it a nice base coating before going in with the metallic. The spray paint dries really fast, so in just a short amount of time, I was able to bring them inside and I unwrapped the tin foil. And as you can see, the pine cones look so beautiful and natural, and they pop really nicely against those metallic gold branches. So to style them on my dining table, I'm starting with layering two cedar garlands. I love this cedar garland. It's really easy to work with. And now I'm just going to begin by layering in these pieces any which way. I'm just sort of going with the natural curve of the branches and just sort of placing them wherever I see fit, and then just taking a minute to just sort of intertwine them, tuck them in to make them look like it's all one natural grown in piece. And once I have all my branches placed, I'm bringing in this set of 6 glass hurricane taper candle holders. They have ribbed glass, they're nice and slender, they're just very elegant, and I think that they bring in that extra gold element to really make this centerpiece pop. On to the fourth and final DIY of this video. It's perhaps my absolute favorite. It's the tension rod garland. So this is the space in our entryway that I'm going to be adding this garland using a simple tension rod. So this is the rod that I purchased, which I've linked for you down below. I like to use 4 garlands in total, 2 different types each, and that just helps to add some dimension and just make it a little bit more interesting. I add 2 branches of battery operated lit garland and then an assortment of ornaments. I have large ornaments here, so I have the bells, I have the snowflakes, and I have the hanging pine cones. You're going to need some zip ties, some fishing line. Rope is optional, but I like the look of it, and a pair of scissors. So to start, you want to just secure your tension rod into the space. Don't worry, we'll raise it later, but you want it at this height so that you can work with it. So next you're going to grab one of each type of garland and you're going to loop a zip tie through the holes there. And then you're just going to secure that around the rod. And now you'll grab the other 2 pieces of garland and do the same thing. And you want to leave about 1 foot or 1.5 feet in between the 2 sets of garland. And what you'll do now is you're going to take one set of garlands and cross it over the other, and then just keep winding it around the tension rod until you have a little bit of overhang toward the end. And the reason why you're crisscrossing them like that in the center is because it will keep the center of your tension rod garland display looking nice and full. So you'll grab the other 2 and do the same thing down the other side. And now it's time to fluff your garland. So definitely do not skip this step. It's one of the most important steps. It's what's going to make it look really pretty and nice and lush and full. So just take a few minutes and sort of open up any branches. You can sort of weave branches around the other, just anything to make it look nice and full. And now I'm going to add in my 2 lit branch garlands. These are so pretty and they give it that nice natural rustic kind of feel. And I love that it adds in another layer to this decor piece. So I just draped it over and I'm letting that battery pack hang for now because I'm going to secure it in just a minute with a zip tie. Before I start hanging the ornaments, I like to place them underneath the tension rod at different heights and clusters just so I can get a feel for how I want them to look once they're secured. So to start, I'm taking a piece of the fishing line and I'm just looping it in the ornament holder. And I'm just going to tie a simple knot to secure it to the tension rod. As I do this, I might take some down, move some around, slide some a little bit more left or right. It's always a good idea to periodically take a step back and look at it from all angles. So make sure that you have the heights that you want, make sure that they're spaced out exactly as you like them. You'll see that I like to come in front of it and also behind it just to make sure that it's looking how I would like. And just to show you a little bit more up close how I'm doing this, I'm just taking the rope and I am just looping it around the tension rod. And then I'm taking a zip tie, and that's what's securing it into place. The zip tie cinches the pieces of rope together, so I'm not actually tying the rope to the tension rod. The fishing line, however, I did tie to the rod. Now I'm trying to determine at what heights I want the snowflakes to hang. So I will never hang the same ornament at the same height. So you can see my 3 pine cones are all different heights. My snowflakes are going to be different heights. It just helps to give it a really whimsical, natural look. I had a couple of extra strands of battery operated lights, so I just sort of fed them through these snowflakes, and I'm going to hang these and attach the battery packs the same way I did with the birch garland. And one really nice thing about that birch garland, if you choose to purchase the one that I've linked for you that I have, it's on a timer. So all you need to do is turn it on one time. So let's say 5 o'clock p.m. before you raise the rod up, you turn it on and it will run for 6 hours on and then shut off for 18 hours and turn on every night at the same time without you having to get up on a ladder and switch it on and off. So now I'm considering removing that wood snowflake all the way to the right and replacing it with some bells. So I thought I was going to do it different this year and not include the bells, but I realized once I had the snowflake up there that I already had enough snowflakes on this tension rod, and I thought that the bells would just add a really nice dimension, bring back another really nice layer. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So that's what I had last year, and I am sticking with that this year. Now I'm just making final fluffs and adjustments to the greenery and snipping off the excess pieces of zip ties. I called in for support here. I have my daughter helping me hang it, and up it goes. I think it came out gorgeous. I'm so happy with it.
That's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed these DIY projects. I would love to know if you plan on making any of these for your home this season. So let me know down below in the comments which one you plan on making, maybe which one was your favorite and what you guys think. If you did like this video, I'd love it if you'd give it a big thumbs up. That's a free way to support my channel and I really appreciate it. I'm just getting into the swing of sharing and filming my holiday content, so make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and that you have your notifications turned on so that you don't miss a video. Thanks for spending some time with me here today on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys watching. I love reading your comments, so thanks so much for being here. Stay tuned for lots more holiday content. I'll be sharing with you guys my Christmas tree village and the bookshelves that I told you about last time. So I'm planning on getting that going and I can't wait to share that with you as well. Thanks again so much for being here and I will see you next time. Take care.